Welcome to this special episode where we're having a very quick preview of the Alternative Accountancy event, which is going on in the next couple of days. John, I know you're a veteran of that event and you're going to be there this year. What are some of the things that you're most looking forward to this time?
Well, Leigh, that's a good question. I mean, I think for me, the alternative event stuff is probably the most strategic event that I've attended over the last few years, and the one that's really helped me to sort of frame my thinking maybe for the year ahead. It's particularly aimed at like mid-sized, larger firms, generally sort of top 200, maybe top 300 now, although I know that list is ever changing in this private equity funded world. But like I say, it is the most strategic. And so it's the one thing where I guess Chatham House Rules apply and you get to speak to your peers across, whether it's technology, accounting, audit, and obviously there's a management conference, which is generally aimed at managing partners as well. So the bunch of topics that generally get discussed, obviously the big ones around AI, but also talent and people, but broader strategic challenges, growth challenges are addressed. The big things for me that I always look forward to, Samoan Circle, because that's just a really great concept. I'm actually running the Samoan Circle for the technology conference this time around as well, so I'm really looking forward to that because that's always can be a little bit controversial, a little bit confrontational. I quite like that. So to kind of help to manifest that a little bit more will be right up my street.
Doesn't sound like you.
Absolutely. And then there's always some like fun, kind of like slightly silly throwaway things as well, like the X Factor format that they have. But alongside that fun stuff, that you do get very, very close to the vendor partners that are there. And like I say, you get very, very close to your what in normal day-to-day business would be your competitors, but get to really sort of share some of your growing pains or some of your frustrations with your peers and sort of learn from each other about how maybe they've addressed some of those if they've experienced them themselves.
Nice. Sounds very, very good. So Ryan, if I'm a managing partner or a digital lead in an accounting firm, what are the sort of things that I should look out for to get the most out of the event, in your opinion?
Yeah, so the managing partners tend to start on the Monday, I believe, where they're there for a kind of an exclusive day dedicated and aimed at them, but are invited back for the Tuesday, which is the first day of the tech conference. What I do see is a lot of managing partners depart very early on the evening before, and I would probably advise against that. There's the first day of the tech conference is very inspirational, I guess, and you need to have that awareness if you're a managing partner of what you should be focusing on tech. On the digital, if you're head of digital and you're there for the 2 days, being the Tuesday and the Wednesday, the one thing I would strongly advise is stay around after the event. So stay around the evening because there's so many great conversations. The best conversations I always had at any conference is the evening of the Alternative Tech Conference. There's so many people have got ideas, concepts, things that they're buzzing about from the first day. And rather than it being, I guess, like a zero-con party where everyone's just getting drunk, which is a little bit of what goes on, it's more about actually sharing insights in a way that you feel open and comfortable to do so. So I've always had my best ideas and from what people have talked about what they're doing of that evening. And then if, you need to try and recover from that, then the morning of the next day, I am organizing a run. So for anyone that feels they need to kind of get rid of those cobwebs, they need to get all of that excess alcohol out of their system, then come and join us for an early morning, very relaxed speed run. We're not going to be sprinting here. I'm just going to be having a little fast and a stroll around the complex.
Power walk.
Yeah, fast and a power walk. Both feet are going to be off the ground. We're going to be going for a little bit more exercise, but we've already got quite a few people that have said they're going to join us, and I think it's a good way nowadays just to get you ready for the next day. Because I've found in virtually any conference, when you try and go for day 2, you're just feeling a little bit worn out. This will kind of get the juices flowing again. There's always good conversations. I was a judge on the X Factor event last year, and it's a nice way of wrapping up the show. Please, I would strongly advise trying to stay along for both days because both of them add quite a lot of value.
Yeah, nice. I've only been once, I think, before, and that was as a vendor on an exhibitor table. And it was quite a different and a welcome change of pace, I think, to some of the other events. It's a much, much smaller affair. And you've got that time to really have some nice conversations with people rather than just trying to scan a badge and move people along at some of the others where, you've got such a volume of people that you need to try and get through. So I remember it being really good from that point of view. But I'm going to be there as well. So I'll see you guys there. We're doing a little talk for some of the vendors on Tuesday evening. So I'm looking forward to that.
God,
But yeah,
let's hope you don't catch us with a few drinks, Leigh. That you might get some very very loose lips from us. And picking up on what you said regarding the vendors, that is also actually something that people should tap into more. Is that normally, because it is quite an exclusive event, like John said, there's not everyone can attend. When you're talking to a vendor, ask them, is there anyone else here that is using your system? Because you can go around and have a chat. They'll make that introduction. It's very relaxed, and you can get some direct feedback while you're having that conversation with the vendor. And that's something you can't really experience when you're at the main shows. So that, I guess, different structure, more relaxed approach, I think is something that I would strongly encourage. If you're having that conversation with a vendor, ask them, who else is here as a customer? Can you make an introduction so I can talk to them directly?
Yeah, definitely. And one other little nugget that I'd offer in there is when you've got that opportunity to have an in-depth conversation with a vendor, don't just ask them about functionality of the product. Ask them about their onboarding process. Like how do they support firms to get going and actually use the thing? It tends to get overlooked, and there's quite a variety in ability and quality from different vendors. So take a little bit of time to ask how they support their customers with that. Anything else that you guys want to throw in as last minute tips for anybody?
If you like golf, there's usually some people playing golf after on the second day. And that's my little tip. I did it last time. Everyone hits the driving range or goes around the course. Lovely little course. So something to plan in. But otherwise, I think the differentiator for me is you have the main talks, but the breakout rooms, which they do throughout the 2 days, are where I gather the most real insights. It's very generalistic in the talks, but you can actually get specific things that firms are doing, and especially now using AI to do in those talks. So make sure you go to those. A lot of people I see kind of go off and go, oh, it's this, because in other shows, the breakout room is not always that helpful. But here, don't go off and do work, go to those. That's the most value.
Yeah, I'd agree with that sentiment as well, Ryan, because I think those breakout sessions, even when they are vendor led, are very participative in terms of, they're not there to sell. It's not a pitch. It's not a product demo. It's about exploring the challenges that their product is trying to solve and understand, listen to the audience, listen to the people around the table, and sort of, find out what are their challenges, whether they use the product or not, like what are they facing in that particular realm, so that they can sort of take that. So it's a good insightful opportunity for them. Unfortunately, I won't be playing golf because that's for old people, and I won't be going for a run either because I'll be in bed probably, suffering from a very late night. But that's just the way it goes.
You'll be there in spirit.
Well, there'll be spirit in me.
Perfect. And that is a perfect place for us to wrap up then. If you do see us, come and say hello, and we hope you enjoy the event.
Awesome.